Good evening from Yummy BTV and probably good night, but you never know with me. I might be going live in a bit. It's been a busy day, but we get round. You keep asking me about this certain person and have I got any more stories hidden in the archives? Like yesterday. Yeah, I have. And I'm going to clear up what some have asked me over a period of time about the night that Lee Murray was in the Deja Vu Club in Swanley, which I think was in Kent. I went down there once to see a lady about 15 years ago, but not the club, right? My other mate, right, who's a doorman, right, and amongst other things as well, proper stuff, right? He was working the circuit, and a couple of weeks before, he fell out with probably one of his colleagues or another doorman, but it was away from the club, over a little bit of work, right? But they sorted it out. So a couple of weeks go by. Lee Murray, my mate, this doorman, and three that we've mentioned over the course of certain Lee Murray stories, also there that night. They've turned up at the door, but that geezer that my mate spoke to, he weren't on the door. It was a complete different new team of doormen. They've gone into the club, boisterous, happy, having a laugh. For a couple of minutes, Lee Murray left the four of them standing over near the bar and made his way through the crowd. A few seconds later, there was a big melee, tables going everywhere, screaming. I mean, you know what it's like when it's pandemonium, right? Straight away, they all thought it must be Lee. So they've all pushed their way through the crowd. When they got there, three doormen were on the floor, mate. Spark out. So they're thinking, well, it's finished. But then another one came, a bigger one. Lee bent down at the hips, hit him with a body shot. They were all saying that he broke him in half, mate. By that time, a couple of those on the floor were getting up. But then, of course, my mate and his mates made sure that they stayed there. So it was all over. So basically, the story is that Lee Murray wiped out probably 4 or 5. Very, very easy. Probably without even taking a punch, right? They got out the club, right? The next day, one of those doormen, someone recognised my mate from the circuit, but he didn't know who he was. He'd never spoken to him before. So what he did was he remembered who somebody who did know him could phone him. And they did. He said to my mate, M, just tell us, who was that geezer last night, mate? M said, nah, I can't tell you that, mate. How can I tell you that? He goes, all right, mate. We just want to know who the fuck he is, right? So what M did was what most of us would do, well, normal people would do, is he phoned Lee Murray. He said, Lee, listen, mate, they're all asking who you are and all that. Anything? He said, let them know. So what? Tell them. He got back on the phone. He rang the geezer. He said, yeah, listen, but before he could finish calling Lee Murray's name, they said, now we know who he is already. Imagine that. The funny bit out of all this is that the next time they went to the club was about 3 weeks later. None of that team ever worked on that door again because they, everybody, they pieced it out kind of thing over the phone. Well, M did. But when he got to the front door that night, everybody said, where's all them lot? 5 or 6 of them, what's happened? They said, nah, they're never working here again. How about that? Absolutely fact. I've got a fight coming with Lee Murray when he was in the YOYs when he was under 21 in Dover, right? So I'll do that for you soon.